good to be talking about sport. Wish we were talking about the more productive and positive things.
We're not really talking about sport, are we? That's the sad old thing. We're not talking about balls flying through goalposts and how terrific it is. We're talking about something far worse than that.
Yes, unfortunately we are. Look, sport's a big part of our Victorian culture. It's a big part of our Victorian economy, and these things are not what people really want to talk about. They'd love to talk about the ability of the players, where they are on the ladder, and every Monday morning around the coffee table or whatever it may be, they're always talking about sport, and particularly football here in Victoria.
Well, look, I mean, how did you feel when you saw those admissions by Jobe Watson the other night?
Well, as a former player and still a strong supporter of the Essendon Football Club...
You played 46 games for Essendon.
I was fortunate enough to play 46 games and very proudly to do that. But look, Essendon's been a very ethical club for a long period of time. It was a great club when I was there, and I still believe they are. It's been terribly unfortunate that this has occurred. But importantly, I think we need to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
We need to get it resolved so we can get on with playing the game of sport, in this case football, so that we can really talk about the ability of the players, where they are on the ladder, and who's going to win the next game.
Well, you can't keep your old footy shorts on. You've got to keep your minister's hat on for this
That's
one.
Correct.
What is your role in this, Minister?
Well, from Victoria's point of view, we want to see the competition in Victoria to be clean. We want to see it competitive. We want to see healthy sporting competitions. And we need for the codes themselves, in this case the AFL, to work with ASADA, and we wish ASADA could move more quickly than what they are. I was very critical at the start that they come out with this, the Australian Crime Commission and ASADA come out with this report earlier this year.
Yeah.
I thought at the time they should have been waited a little bit longer. They said to us, and we got a confidential briefing after a long period of time. We had to force it on the federal minister to give us, as sports ministers right across Victoria and Australia, to give us the information. But again, they said to us they had intelligence. They didn't have evidence. I think if they'd gone a bit further into it, they would have got the evidence that they could have moved much more quickly than what they are doing now.
Sitting back and waiting for the investigation to finish, which is what everyone sort of, Essendon will say, look, we're waiting for the investigation. The AFL will say that. I would say that the federal sports minister might even say the same thing. But that's all a bit of a moot point for this week, isn't it? Because Jobe Watson has come out and admitted that he was jabbed with the substance, said he signed a consent form, and he stuck the club right in it. Do we not need to deal with the admission and put the investigation to one side and deal with the admission that Jobe Watson has made?
Well, again, I'd like to know, you need to get all the evidence before you can make an assumption. I think that it's important for the AFL and Essendon Football Club and all those involved to get to the bottom of this as soon as possible. It's difficult when you see a short snippet on TV to know the full evidence. I've got a lot of time for Jobe Watson.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of time for the club. I think they're a most ethical club. But at the end of the day, if they've done the wrong thing, they should feel that the laws of the code should come down on them.
Do you believe, from what you know about this drug, at the time that it was, and let's just talk hypothetically, at that time, was it a banned drug? Was it prohibited? Because there seems to be a lot of talk about whether it was or it wasn't. As the sports minister, how do you see it?
Well, no, I think you're getting in an area where I haven't got the expertise on it. I think we're being hypothetical, and I don't want to deal with a hypothetical situation. We need to get the evidence, we need to act on the evidence, and bring down, if they've done the wrong thing, the players done the wrong thing, they should come down heavily and show that we want to see a clean, competitive, healthy environment of sport.
Yeah, but Minister, it's not, it's if you're not an expert in the area, I understand that, but it's still... you, as a sports minister, is the drug that Jobe Watson saying that he was injected with, is it a banned substance? Was it prohibited?
Well, again, what I saw on TV, he thinks it was that substance. We need to find out what the substance was. We need to ensure, was it banned at that time? According to what I've read, again, it's on what I've read, it was banned at the time.
All right.
Of what he said. So again, I think we all want clean, competitive and healthy sporting environments. And let's get to the bottom of this, clean it up, and more importantly, let's make sure that we don't go off like we did early in the year. And Essendon's one club. The reality is we want to see this fixed up because if we're coming towards the finals time, it'll be a bad cloud to hang over the Essendon Football Club, which, as you said earlier, are in the top 4 at this time.
What should the AFL be doing here?
Well, again, it's a very difficult one for them. They're waiting on ASADA too. I think we're all sitting on our hands waiting for the ASADA report.
Yeah.
I wish they'd move more quickly on it.
All right, couple of quick ones. If Jobe Watson did indeed get injected with that drug, should he be stripped of his Brownlow medal?
Well, I think there'll be a big. Look, I don't want to make comment on that, but it would put a big cloud over his Brownlow for sure.
Should he be playing this weekend? Should he be playing tomorrow night, rather?
Yes, I do. I think he should be playing.
Thanks for talking to us, Minister. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for your time.
It actually must be a bit sad for you as a former player for the Bombers and now to be in this role. Actually, it doesn't matter what role you're in. To be a former player for the Bombers and a Bombers fan yourself as a supporter and an ex-player must be pretty sad to sit back and look at this.
It is enormously sad. They're a great club, been a very successful club. But at the end of the day, they've got to play by the rules that are there, put in by sport, put in by all of us across Australia. The reality is that the Essendon Football Club gets my support.
Yep.
But again, they've got to do it. David Evans, I've got a lot of time for him. But again, we wish we could clean this up and we could talk about the real game, which is the athleticism, the ability of the players, and see who's the best team playing under a clean system.